These are my first impressions on the Racer TR21 by Adidas. And throughout the video, I'll give you my thoughts on the shoe so far when wearing them while running, training, and casually. I couldn't find a specific release date for the TR21, but I found that this colorway released earlier this year. The shoe retails for $75 US, but I was able to get them for about $50 with a discount. And the price point is probably my favorite thing about the shoe, especially if you want to wear it casually. The shoe is part of Adidas' efforts to reduce plastic waste, with about 50% of the upper being made of recycled materials. The shoebox also comes with an end plastic waste message to further emphasize these efforts. I got these in US size 11 and I can confirm that they fit true to size, but even with the shoes fitting properly, I had a really hard time when wearing these for performance, especially for running. I'm not entirely sure why Adidas went with the name Racer TR21 for this shoe, since it has no features that help it become a racing or running shoe, and actually I do know that they meant for this to be a lifestyle slash casual shoe that is sports inspired, but this could confuse the average consumer looking for a reliable performance shoe. The biggest thing for me is that the shoe has very little to no structure, and this became very noticeable the moment I started to run with them. I didn't notice this lack of structure when I was warming up, but I did notice that the midsole feels, for a lack of better words, flimsy and unreliable. This actually ended up forcing me to pull my strides a little bit so that I didn't land with my full force. Ironically enough though, I think that these might have a dual density midsole. I wasn't able to confirm this with any of my sources, but the area highlighted by green on this shoe seems to be softer than the rest of the midsole. The upper is also not the best when it comes to structure, and while I don't want to blame it on the recycled material, this might have something to do with it. There is no support system for the midfoot or ankle area though, so that also might have been a huge role in the shoe not providing the best experience. And probably also a big factor with the shoe becoming loose after some time of wearing it for performance. Now, while most features didn't give me a lot of confidence, the outsole is probably the one thing that I can say has been great. It provided a very reliable grip and traction even on dirty and dusty surfaces, which I was quite impressed by, since the outsole is not something that tends to perform this well on most shoes. I do have to say that the outsole had this very loud squeaking noise during the first couple of times wearing the shoe, but it slowly went away as I kept wearing the shoe. The strong grip at the outsole was somewhat helpful during training, but it was once again overshadowed by the same concerns I had while running. The lack of cushion at the midsole didn't help with impact reduction and or energy return for jumping exercises. The heel drop at the midsole also became noticeable, and this threw off my form on certain exercises since the heel felt more elevated than the rest of my foot. They were decent for boxing, I'm assuming because of the outsole, but I still struggle with them becoming loose after a while and not providing a lot of security at the midfoot. And also, part of the front of the insole came off, and I didn't even realize it until I put them on before a training session and I felt something small underneath my foot. This obviously doesn't give me a lot of confidence when it comes to the durability of the insole, or the entire shoe for that matter. And to make things more worrying, the insole that the shoe comes with is glued to the top of the midsole, and it sounds like you might have to rip it from there to swap it for something else. Now, to be fair, I have been playing with the dog a lot, and I've been kicking the ball, and this might have caused the little part of the insole to come off, but still not something you necessarily want to see on a pair of shoes that are not even a month old. In general, I wouldn't recommend the shoes for anything performance related, but they were a pretty decent option to wear casually. They look great with multiple outfits, including jeans, and they are comfortable enough to walk around the airport and fly to Mexico with them. This colorway has also been great, and honestly, I am a huge fan of the way that the three main colors all contrast from each other, especially at the outsole. For the people that have watched my Nike shoe videos for a while, I consider the experience with these very similar to the Revolution 6. This is another shoe that is definitely not my first choice for performance, but I ultimately used it more and will continue to wear it more for casual wear. And obviously time will tell about the quality and durability, but in the meantime, let me know what other shoes you want to see on the channel. I'm finally doing other brands, as you can see, and I want to make sure that you guys get the content for the shoes you want and the shoes you simply want to learn more about.